I've been hustling hard for a while now. Getting money for a while now. These niggas hating for a while now. These hoes on me for a while now. Doing it down for a while now. Hustling hard for a while now. Getting money for a while now. These niggas hating, I'ma blow them down. Bitch, I make a check, I'ma break the bank. Bitch, I make a check, I'ma break the bank.
What up, YouTube? What up, what up? It's your boy Trucker States. Back here with another video. Back here again. We're back here again. So, I'm feeling good this morning. Ate me some Chinese food, shrimp fried rice, chicken, fried ragoon, mixed it up. Couldn't eat it all. Too much to eat. But man, I just feel good. I'm out here at the terminal. My load is finally ready. I'm about to head back west. I just had a horrible experience going all the way back east to New York City and Connecticut. I talked to my DM to get me out of the East Coast, and now I'm running back west. So hopefully I can start a cross-country tour. Cross-country route, you know, with my student. You know, we just now started running teams. It's just I started all over again. You know, my first student or whatever. I only had him for about maybe a week. Yeah, I actually had him long enough to where he actually drove for at least 50 hours. He had about 51 hours, and we was about to start a team when I had, you know, I let him go. I got asked for my manager to release him, to relieve him from my truck. So I'm with another student. We're probably at about 70 hours or whatever into his 200. He's doing great, doing good. So we're teaming right now, but the point of this video, I just want to talk about my 15 months here at Swift Transportation. You know, it's been a bumpy road. There's been some ups and downs, twists and turns, good weeks, bad weeks, good days, bad days. It's been a humbling experience. I enjoyed the time that I've been here. I'm still here, by the way. I don't want you guys thinking that I quit. I like working for the company or whatever. I've been here for about 15 months, like I said. And got at least the 1 year of experience. You know, most companies want you to have at least 6 months to at least a year of experience. I could have left, but you know, why leave if it's like the old saying goes, if it's not broke, then why fix it? You know, so that's why I'm still here. But I still remember, I would say about 18 months ago. I was just at school. I was on my way to school. I had no money, no job. My girlfriend, only one, had a job. She supported me during the time I was at school. My mother also supported me if I needed anything. So it was my mother, my daughter, you know, my girlfriend. Are my three main supporters. I remember just going to school, sold my laptop, some music instruments that I had. Cause for you guys that don't know, I actually my hobby is music. Actually, I like to actually produce music. That's one of my things that I like to do. I'm also like an audio engineer, but I don't have like a degree in it. Self-taught. I actually am an audio. I'm good at audio engineering, I'm gonna say. So the song that y'all hear in my intro and my videos, that's my cousin actually rapping, and I made the beat that he's rapping on and stuff like that. So I produced the sound for the intro and stuff like that. So let me get back to the story. So I end up selling my equipment that I had, because I came out here, man, with one goal in mind: to get my CDL license, to better my life for not just me, but for my family, to be able to provide for my family. So by me going to school to get my CDLs, that gave me the qualification, that gave me everything that I needed in order to do that. So I ended up going to school. I failed the road test the first time I took it. I also failed the yard test the first time I took it. Came back another week. I passed both, got my CDLs. Now that I went to orientation. Orientation was for 3 days. So I went to orientation for 3 days, and got on my truck with my mentor the third day. Orientation usually starts on Monday and ends on Wednesday. You usually get your driver code on, if I'm not mistaken, by the end of Tuesday. You usually know if you're hired or not. So I get my driver code. I get on the truck with my mentor. The first day the load went bad. Let me take this jacket off because it is kind of hot, and I got on a jogging outfit. So the first day with my mentor, we went to pick up a load that was like an hour away. The load wasn't ready. So we headed out to the West Coast the next day. Once we did get a load, that was my first experience going on the West Coast. I fell in love with the West Coast. That was one of the main reasons why I actually moved to the West Coast. I just love it out there, man. It's just completely different from where I'm from, you know. The air is fresher. It's more space. It don't seem as cluttery as Chicago is, as far as being overpopulated in certain areas and stuff like that. Now, some areas could be, but anyway, so I was on my mentor truck for about 5 weeks. Everything was going good. We was running hard. We kept running. We was always running. Truck was running. This truck never broke down. We was running hard. I'm talking about, man, hard. So I get my 200 hours. Here comes the part that I will never forget. I would say I would never forget. I got my 200 hours, but I got so nervous when it came to taking the upgrade test. I passed the written test with flying colors. Passed the first time. I passed the road test. No problems. Passed it with flying colors. The bagging test. Now, I'm not going to say, like, you know, my mentor didn't work on bagging. He actually did, and I actually did get good at it. But I defeated myself, actually. You know, I defeated myself. I got so nervous, you know, doing the test or whatever, and I kind of forgot everything that my mentor taught me. So I ended up failing it. I was out in Rochelle, Illinois, at the terminal, Illinois. There was like a local driver who lived in the area. Lucky for me, this is how God works in mysterious ways. luckily for me, I didn't have to go back on the road for 50 hours again. So they let me go with one of the local drivers. He had a sleeper cab, actually, a sleeper. They parked the truck at like the drop yard, not too far from the terminal. So I was still able to sleep on the truck at night or whatever when he went home, because he was local. So his truck still was a sleeper cab. I was running loads from Illinois to Indiana, then from Illinois up to like Wisconsin. I did that. I took the test on a Monday, I think. I went back and took the test on Thursday. Now, I didn't have to do the road test and the written test all over. I ended up passing the bagging test this time with no problem, and I got it in there. So, bam, I've upgraded. I go home. Went home for about 3-4 days. I went and picked up my truck at the terminal that wasn't too far from my house. I used to live on the southeast side of Chicago, which is only like maybe 10 minutes from the Indiana state line. Gary wasn't too far from where I live. So I went and picked up my truck. I made a lot of mistakes on the road when I was about my first couple of months. Yeah, man. I had one preventable accident. I was making a U-turn at a shipper or something like that, and I miscalculated the space that I had. So when I made my U-turn, the back of my trailer, like the DOT bumper, it sideswiped a small little palm tree that was in the shipper. The management actually came, the manager or whatever, whoever that is that work at the factory, they took pictures, called Swift and stuff like that. I had a bunch of critical events because I had a hard time riding in the winter. The snow was horrible out west. This is my first time riding the snow and going out west. So it was a tough process and kind of rocky. I had a lot of critical events from, heartbreaking events. One time I almost got into a rollover. I was in Wyoming on I-80. I was heading down a small little hill, but I was going too fast or whatever, so I ended up swerving a little bit to avoid a rollover. Somehow I pulled myself up out of it, and that was good. But all of my points added up. So let's fast forward a couple of months later, around like January. I already had like 48 points for my safety points. That is high. You don't want to get your safety points high. You want to keep them low as possible, because if they get too high, you can be terminated. So I was at like 48 points, and I worked on it. I got better over the months. It was everything was like baby steps. I got better over the months. I practiced bagging up between trailers on my own. What I used to do is just go to the terminals. So I would go to the terminals, and I would do like backings on my own, and I would always do like a 90-degree angle type backing. I never did like straight pull-ups and stuff like that. Only time I really would do that if I'm at like a shipper or something, because I didn't want to practice by myself at the shipper, because I was still getting comfortable. I mean, I knew how to back up in between a truck or trailer, and I would do it at a truck stop if I had no choice. But I would practice as much as possible at the terminals on my backing. And so at the terminals, you just have like a bunch of empty trailers or loaded, but it's the most areas I would pick where there'll be just trailers with no truck hooked up to it. So that gave me the space to actually practice on my own, and that's what I did. I just practice. I got better at it. I got better at my driving. I brought my points down from 48 all the way to 13. So what happened is I had more. I had longer weeks without triggering any critical event and stuff like that, because most of the critical events was like 8 points for each one. So I had probably about 6 critical events, I think. Yeah, about 6. So I just stayed out here and I grind. I was out here for like 5 months. Now, while doing all of this, I was paying off debt. You know, me and my girlfriend, we discussed about leaving Chicago. So we ended up leaving after me being here for a year. We left or whatever, and we just kept a budget. We kept up and maintained a weekly budget and a monthly budget, and part of our budget included paying off our debt while paying bills. So we ended up paying up our debt before we end up leaving Chicago. So before we end up leaving, this was probably around like December or November of last year, we discussed about leaving Chicago. We had no idea exactly where we wanted to go. So she allowed me to actually pick where we should move or whatever. So I told her, are you willing to move to the West Coast? You know, the reason why I asked her, because I wanted to see, I just wanted to make sure was she comfortable with moving so far away from her family. I mean, I was already ready to move far, so it was no big deal to me. If she didn't want to move to out west, I wouldn't have been upset or anything. I would have just went with whatever decision she made or whatever. She wanted to move close, stay close to Illinois, but move out of town. I would have been down for that, teamwork, So stacked up a few dollars to pay off bills or whatever. During this time, my girl started looking up apartments out of town. This is fast forward to the summertime now. I'm going to go to the summertime. So we've been discussing for the last few months. Okay, we narrowed the cities down to Vegas. So we narrowed it down to Vegas, and we was like, yeah, let's do this. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna move to Vegas. So around around June, July, we was already looking for apartments. We ended up finding a townhouse, nice townhouse by the way. It's comfortable. It's in our budget. It's in our range. So we found the townhouse, and I love it there, man. And fast forward to now, I moved on my vacation. I used my vacation to actually I used my vacation to actually move out of Chicago. So I ended up moving on my vacation, and came back on the road after my vacation was up. I went back to my home terminal to pick up a new truck. Now, once I get to the truck, this is the present now. I got my new truck or whatever, and my manager, she pulled me to the side. She talked to me. She was like, "Are you willing to become a mentor. You know, you've been here for a while. I think you're ready and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought I was gonna wait till like November, but this was like September. You know, so I ended up getting approved like a couple of hours later before I even left the terminal. So I ended up getting approved before I left the terminal. The next week later, I was in class with my mentor, and that's it. I was officially a mentor at the next step of my the next phase of my career right now. So it's been a long 15 months. I didn't want to make a long video and go into every details about what's been going on in the last 15 months, but I just kept it short and brief and straight to the point. Most of the time, I know you guys been following my videos. You know, I've been giving you guys update on what's going on, stuff like that. But yeah, man, I learned a lot within this 15 months being out here on the road. I want to thank my family and thank my family that supports me and make my job easier, and never complain about the time that I spend on the road, the weeks and the months that I've been out here. So I really appreciate that. I also appreciate you guys for watching my channel and watching my videos. You know, without you guys, I wouldn't have this channel. So I'm only doing this video. I'm doing this video. Yeah, man, I just feel good. I'm about to get ready and hit 400 subscribers. Once I hit 400, I'm going to drop this video for that. As soon as I hit 400 subscribers, I'm almost there. So I just want to thank you guys for watching my video, and I appreciate that, man. And it's been a humbling experience. I made mistakes. I learned from them. So I hope that I can prepare my student to become a great driver, help him avoid mistakes that I made, so he wouldn't have to go through some of the things that I went through. That's for any one of my future students and my current students. So, like I said, it's been your boy Trucker States. It's been real. It's been great. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell so you can receive notifications every time a video drop. And I am out. Peace.
I've been hustling hard for a while now, getting money for a while now. These niggas hating for a while now, these hoes on me for a while now. Blowing it down for a while now, hustling hard for a while now, getting money for a while now. These niggas hating, I'ma blow them down. Bitch, I make a check, I'ma break the bank. Bitch, I make a check, I'ma break the bank.